it just shows how inauthentic that their friendship is, that they could be friends for 20 years and her not be able to cheat on her man on this trip.
Yo,
that she had to hide that was the part. Like, just cheat on your man on this trip. I'm not friends. Like, they clearly have very disconnected lives. Like, she's not friends with her husbands or vice versa. Like,
they don't normally travel together.
No. It's been a long time since they've done anything together.
You care a lot.
For 20 years, I should be able to do
whatever I want in Thailand.
And if you have something to say about it, okay, say it, and it shouldn't be the demise of
whatever his name is, Craig or whatever. I'm just making up a name. You should be able to be like, so you're not happy with Craig. Yeah. And like be able to kiki about that.
Yeah, what was that about, girl? Like, hello?
And instead she was like, I have to perform.
Take it the wrong way.
It's not, I don't care. Eat me up. Eat me up if you will.
They are going to eat us up.
Eat me up in the comments.
Why are they going to eat us up?
I think that people have an issue with hearing like, I'm going to ride for my friends over like, patriarchy.
Isn't that the status quo for men?
Like, you should be holding your friends, and that's what I'm saying.
Well, I think the status quo is authenticity, right? So you are going to be who you are in your friendships, and your friends can say what they want to say about it, but if it's a real friendship, it's not going to end the friendship.
Cookie's a character. Oh my gosh. Gigi too.
She's a nutcase.
A crazy. Sorry.
Now you go right in the window to this R&B.
Welcome to Therapy Rebranded. We back, baby.
Yep.
We here. We're talking about White Lotus season 3 because
why not?
Well, honestly, I've even changed our bio on YouTube and Instagram and all of those things to be like, we talk about pop culture and social commentary. And I feel like White Lotus was, like, if someone asked me what is like White Lotus about, I would say White Lotus is social commentary. Yeah. Like, yes, there's plots, but like, if the only way you're going to really enjoy White Lotus is if you have a high enough emotional IQ to catch all of the interactions and dynamics, because every single scene of every single episode is coded. It's coded.
You have to want to like get into the little minutia and like do the little psychological. They want you to be a little psychologist. Nerd.
Yeah, it's not a throw it on in the background while you fold laundry. You gotta be locked in to catch.
Phone on D&D, baby.
Yeah,
it's like a commentary on whiteness, on class, on like relationships, on aging, gender. It's so much social commentary, and none of it feels woke.
No, none of it feels woo-woo at all.
None of it feels woke. None of it feels like, oh, you're trying to prove a point. It's like slick and smart. It's like it adds to the value of the entertainment, and there's no other reason they're doing it.
This was the first season where it felt like there was a little bit more of like an ethnic or racial component, maybe because there were like brown people involved, and they were talking specifically about like
because they were in Thailand too.
Yeah, exactly. So that was, but it wasn't even that. Like you're right, it wasn't like overt.
They had the Thai song. No,
Thai song.
Yeah, I did too. It wasn't even like woke in a bad way. It was like none of it feels like a studio was like, how do we fit in like racial awareness?
Yeah. No.
How do we fit in gender awareness?
It was
Should we have the main character be caramel or dark skin? Like none of it felt like that. It all felt like these characters were like super fully formed and really insightful, and
it's very raw.
Natasha Rothwell's character was fully informed. The black woman,
Belinda.
Yeah, Natasha.
I'm gonna need you to use the show names.
I don't know. I can't do it.
It's all right. I've got them.
Thank you.
Me too. We'll correct you.
I only know that one guy. People.
Well, that's pretty pretentious of you.
I know. I'm into that shit.
Yo,
very pretentious of you.
I'm sorry.
So we're gonna like.
Wait, did we introduce our White Lotus correspondent?
Oh, this is our White Lotus correspondent, Patrice. Bleep.
Yeah, I was like, do not do my government. No,
I'll bleep it out myself. Police.
Police.
Patrice.
Hit me up. Patrice goes.
Patrice has.
They ate me up. I'm just.
I can't see having my clients see any of this. Can't wait till I work for myself one day. There ain't gonna be no filter on the podcast. Take me as I am, baby.
My mom saved me a lifetime of having a bad name. Wiener.
Wiener's a bad name.
That's her maiden name.
Yo, bless up. That's crazy.
Bless up. Thank God for Nick Collins.
Your dad saved you. Woo-hoo! Was that even his last name though? Is that even his government? It is? Okay, I'm shocked.
I know, me too.
Like, it's Weiner. Fuck you.
Wiener. No, it's wiener. Right?
They correct people. People will say whiner because obviously they're like, there's no way.
They correct? Why would you
say,
ever
no,
correct?
it's wiener.
Yeah.
You listen.
No, my grandparents, wiener.
It's giving Jew.
It is giving Jew. Get it right.
Say it right. Okay, I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. No,
No.
get it right.
No.
We're Jewish and we're proud.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
We're black and we're proud.
I'm a strong black woman.
No, you're not.
You know that little white girl?
Yes.
It says that.
I'm a strong, independent black woman.
Yes.
A strong black woman.
So I thought the easiest way to talk about this would be to like break it up in kind of the interpersonal groups. So there was all these like subsects of groups.
So many.
So I thought we could talk about the friend group. Jaclyn, Laurie, and Kate. Actually, I was most interested by them and then the Ratliffs. Those were like my
Those are my two.
But I was like watching being like, our Ratliffs.
Were people super into the other couple dynamics?
A lot of people were really into Chelsea and Rick.
Yes,
I just
Chelsea and
disagree
Rick.
with why, and we can talk about it later.
Yeah.
But people were very into them.
They had the most. I guess they kind of had the other story plot. That's true.
Okay, that's fair.
I think depending on your maturity, you see their relationship very differently. So the friend group is Jaclyn, Laurie, and Kate. And if you haven't watched the show, I'm not breaking everything down for you. We're just diving in.
Yeah.
So you can just, So
Catch up. Do your homework.
do your homework. Come back when you're caught up with reality.
Stop living under a rock.
Can you not afford HBO? Ew.
Not a friend of a friend of a friend. Come
Also, totally joking.
Also,
Okay.
I can't afford it. I'm on Jamila's
I ain't paying for that shit. Right. We all-
Every
we
single
all
one
do
of
it.
us watch it on my mom's account. Thanks, Brooke.
Thanks.
Every single one of us.
I'm gonna go home and watch Hacks tonight.
My mom. My mom can't be bad though because I pay for the New York Times for her. Okay.
Hey.
Oh, shit, let me jump on that too.
And can go ahead. So Jaclyn, Laurie, and Kate are these friends who are coming to this resort to do the trip together, and it's very clear that they've been at least friends since college. And Jaclyn is paying for their trip, which I think is important because she's a successful actress. And the entire time she's pretending that she doesn't care that she's a successful actress, but deeply wants everyone to know and see her and have her be the star of the
And
show.
center her in every single way.
What was interesting to you guys about this friendship?
One of the things that was most interesting to me is how connected Jaclyn and what's the Babiana, what's her
Kate?
name, Kate, just how they kind of seem to, like, the first night when Laurie like saw them talking, she's like sobbing. I'm like, oh, so there's history between these two here. Like, these two seem to be like
The closer of friends.
the closer friends, and she was like their tag along.
She's on the outside.
Yeah, looking in. So I thought that was pretty interesting right off the bat. I was like,
I also feel like 3 friendships never work.
You know that, like, they say bad things come with pairs of 3 or whatever Chelsea kept saying.
What's your face?
No, I'm joking.
Because the 3 of us?
They say that though. That's
No,
the
but
thing.
the 3 of
That's
us,
thing.
like, I think we can say this out
Historically, it hasn't
loud.
worked out for
No.
us.
I think I can
No,
say
it
this
has.
out loud. The thing that makes the 3 of us being friends work is that it's not unspoken that you guys are friends because you're best friends with me. And that's the part that's not like weird and
that's
made up.
right.
Like,
It's
I
not
think
some weird-
I think if like you and Patrice had to pretend that you guys were as close as each of you are to me, then that would be the
different.
delusional
It would-
3.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that's
you
fair.
guys can like each other, enjoy each other,
Yeah.
hang out without me.
Zero pressure.
And none of that's
Zero-
weird.
Right.
You guys can
exactly.
all do that because you're not over here pretending like
We're gonna hang out next week, bitch.
you guys aren't out here pretending like, well, I like Patrice, I like you just as much as Jave, and vice versa. Like, yes, we all like each other, but they're different bonds and relationships, and that's okay. Like, I think
It's okay.
me and Patrice have been friends for a decade, so we're family. Like, it's all different dynamics. Everyone has their like place and thing that we all do that's specific and
literally.
whatever.
There's no hierarchy within.
The 3 of them are pretending like it's equal.
Yes.
And it's clearly not equal. Like, they're all
Yes.
pretending like they're all close.
Yes.
I thought one of the things that was really interesting about their friendship was that the first couple episodes, they were all working really hard to be like,
Copacetic.
we're best friends and this is great and this is what we've been looking for and this is everything I've wanted. Like, it felt like pretending.
Yep.
Yes.
Like, they
forced.
were pretending and forcing like this really
very
great
performative.
vibe.
Very performative.
Okay, who is Carrie Coon's character?
I don't know. Who's Carrie Coon?
The one on the
Laurie.
right.
Playing Laurie.
Yeah.
The whole time her character is just trying to keep up is what it feels like.
Yes.
Keep up, even in like she's trying to be like as explicit or as kind of out there or whatever it is. And even in their last kind of like their last interaction, she like kind of bears her soul and they like move over the part where she says she's deeply lonely.
Oh yeah, they don't see her.
No, at all.
They don't see Laurie at all.
No.
Not even kind of.
No.
I also thought that was so. I encounter Jaclyn's like. I have people in my life, I would say quite often, actually. I don't know how this always happens to me, but I always am around people who have more money than me. And they're always constantly trying to pay for shit. And
Sounds horrible.
it's great. No, it's great.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
But it's not until you let them pay for you and you do a couple of things that you realize if they're a Jaclyn or not. Like, is there strings attached to this? Are you just bringing me along on the ride because you want me there and you know it's not fair to ask me to pay for it because that $500 is nothing to you versus being a lot to me? Or are you doing this because you want to feel like you're the more successful friend?
Yep. Right.
And I felt like that was Jaclyn. She was trying to be the more
100%.
successful friend the entire time.
Fucking the guy that Laurie wanted, all that.
What was that about?
Okay.
That shit
Yes,
threw me.
tell us. Why did she do that?
Here's what I feel. Here's what I feel is going on with that. I feel like because she was over here faking and jaking about how great her relationship was. Sorry, is that like?
No, it's great.
Oh, I was like, did I just out my age? Wait, is that old?
No.
Faking and shaking. Okay, shucking and jiving. She
was pretending she was in a happy marriage and
that it was so amazing. And
all
the thing,
of them are.
yeah, but she was going hard in a way where I feel like it just didn't line up with how pressed she was for Laurie to get some dick. Like, she kind of, I felt like, wanted to live through Laurie because she's like, if it were me and I were in your position, I would be on this.
Yeah.
And also being like, and you're that kind of girl. Like, I know who you are. I know you know.
They were shady towards each other the entire
time. But what it really was is the history is that, no, Jaclyn, you're the thirsty one. I just be down for the ride. I'm not opposed to getting crazy, but you're the one who's like, it's on your itinerary. I need to get crazy.
Yeah.
And because she's claiming to be in this relationship, I just felt like she kind of was salty that she couldn't also get she needs the attention anywhere, anytime from anyone. She needs it. The whole time she's just like dropping eggs of like asserting her dominance, right? Like being like, but you like that though. And you're dropping comments on it.
I felt like at the beginning too, she tried to play like I kind of thought they were going to take it in a dynamic of like she and her boyfriend who's like on some movie set or something, that they were going to be like, oh, it's open, and she's like, oh no, it's fine, we both know. I felt like a little bit she was trying to play that card.
No, but she was Laurie asked her if is that what it is, because why else are you so concerned with
dick?
Yeah. Like,
well, it felt very pretend too, because if you think about like all of the side conversations, so they all end up talking shit with each other about the other one, and all the side conversations are so-and-so's not as happy as she presents.
Yes.
That is the theme of every conversation, or something's wrong with her life in a way that like she doesn't present or she's hiding. And so I think it just shows how inauthentic that their friendship is, that they could be friends for 20 years and her not be able to cheat on her man on this trip. That she had to hide that. That was the part. Like, just cheat on your man on this trip. I'm not friends. Like, they clearly have very disconnected lives. Like, she's not friends with her husbands or vice versa. Like,
they don't normally travel together.
No. It's been a long time since they've done anything together.
We've been a lot for 20 years. I should be able to do
whatever I want in Thailand.
And if you have something to say about it, okay, say it, and it shouldn't be the demise of
whatever his name is, Craig or whatever. I'm just making up a name. You should be able to be like, so you're not happy with Craig. Yeah. And like be able to kiki about that.
Yeah, what was that about, girl? Like, hello?
And instead she was like, I have to perform.
This and take it the wrong way.
It's not, I don't care. Eat me up. Eat me up if you will.
They are going to eat us up.
Eat me up in the comments.
Why are they going to eat us up?
I think that people have an issue with hearing like, I'm going to ride for my friends over like patriarchy.
Isn't that the status quo for men?
Like, you should be holding your friends, and that's what I'm saying.
Well, I think the status quo is authenticity, right? So you are going to be who you are in your friendships, and your friends can say what they want to say about it, but if it's a real friendship, it's not going to end the friendship.
Exactly.
And that's the part. Exactly. It's the authenticity piece. Is like she cheated regardless of whether they were on board or not. And it's the fact that she had to hide the cheating that lets you know it's not a real friendship.
Yeah.
And Laurie made it very clear, like, hey, I just want to know the tea. Like, I'm not judging you.
She was
like,
big mad though.
She was so mad.
She
was so mad.
It was clearly something that used to happen in college where she would pretend like she was setting Laurie up with someone and then sleep with them.
Yes.
She was personally upset. She was personally upset.
And then Laurie goes and also like kind of acts out, which also felt like some young shit, like going and like fucking this random guy and like getting and like climbing up through the thing. Like that was very college. Like,
she was like, I can have sex too.
Slapped by the girl.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly.
What do we think about when they all realized that Kate was a Trump supporter?
I wanted them to go deeper.
Well,
I wanted more.
If you remember, there's a part where Laurie says, they don't follow up on it, but it's a scene where Laurie's like talking about hinting at her child maybe being transgender or like wanting to transition.
This is a whole thing on the internet.
Yeah. But they didn't follow up. They just had the one scene where she says that. And then so when the scene about the Trump supporter comes up, it's very awkward because it's like, well, I just got done telling you about how like my child is figuring out their gender stuff. Like why, like you can't sit at this table and support him. So
I guess it was supposed to be a whole storyline, and then after Trump was elected,
they decided it was too sensitive. They were like, wrong place, wrong time.
Carrie, Laurie's character, came out and was like disappointed that they couldn't have a whole like storyline.
But I feel like it was just enough to still insinuate. It still showed you what kind of woman Kate was, which is the typical white woman of like, well, my husband says blah blah blah, so I just say what my husband says.
The whole voting thing was so on point.
Well, the hard thing about the Kate piece is she didn't really. If I'm remembering correctly, she didn't really admit it.
No.
She was like, I'm neutral. I don't like, she kind of like backed out. It was
she was like, are we really going to do this?
Yes.
And they were like, I guess not. Like,
again, more inauthenticity.
Yes. Because if y'all are real bitches, y'all would have been like, hold on.
What the
fuck? Like, say right now.
Or what?
Say right now.
Well, I think too, like, I think this was its own commentary on whiteness because these white women are sitting and having this conversation, and the reality is like you can opt in to care about the ways Trump is fucked up or not.
Yes.
It's your choice whether you want to opt in, because in a lot of ways, if you're married and you're at an age where you're not going to have children, it doesn't really affect you. And so I think also Kate's response was like, oh, okay, you're going to get on the woke bandwagon. Like that was also the like, oh, you're going to pretend like the way that Trump shows up impacts you. It doesn't.
Right.
Like, I feel like that was the unspoken, which is kind of true.
It is.
It's kind of true.
Honest,
like Jaclyn's rich ass. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a social justice warrior while you're out here cheating on your husband.
Yeah, please.
Like I know that's how Kate felt. Like I'm loyal to the people who matter to me, and you're over here saying I'm a bad person because I'm not loyal to these random black people in Southern Chicago. I know that's what she was thinking.
Yeah, that was
like
exactly.
they touched on so much, and then. Like Laurie and Jaclyn got to sit in the corner and basically have a conversation about how they were better people because they would never vote for Trump, which was also like very interesting.
For you or for Pat?
Yeah. So all of that with the friend stuff was cool. Who's the worst friend?
Jaclyn.
Why?
Hands down.
It's hard because I can't name them.
Jaclyn, Laurie, and Kate. Kate's
in that order.
Kate's Babiana. She's the girl type Bob.
Fair.
Kate, Jaclyn, Laurie.
Yeah.
Which one is the worst?
I think Jaclyn, because it wasn't enough to her. It wasn't enough for her to be able to feel like the main character. She was shading Laurie at left and right. Like, even with her, like, weight. Like, oh, the doctor said I have that. She's like, is that right? No, it's wrong. Like, what do you fucking mean? Is that right? Like, she just was really just like.
Couldn't believe that she was, like, hotter in the other guy's eyes.
And she was very, like, had to put Laurie in her place, even though Laurie wasn't trying to claim any of a place. She, like she said, she's just glad to be at the table. She's just glad to be involved. And Jaclyn kept finding a reason to have to put her in her place. And it was just very weird because she didn't do that to Kate. She was very much like, Kate, like, oh, you look great. You look blah, blah, blah. She was just, it just was weird. I just think she's a bitch. And I think she's...
Well, I think being...
Nothing's enough.
In a, quote, successful marriage put Kate on a pedestal in Jaclyn's eyes. Like, that's something that Kate has that Jaclyn doesn't. And I think Kate does a good job of playing her role and being grateful. And I think that Laurie's clunky.
Yeah.
And and so I think that's part of it, too.
She's more New York.
She's just clunky.
Rough around the edges.
Like, she's probably, like, you know, like Jaclyn and Kate are probably slightly embarrassed when she talks to the waiter. Like the way she laughs, the way she carries herself.
The level of class still isn't to where their level of class
No, and they're kind of like begging her to come out of her shell, and then she comes out of her shell at the nightclub, and they look at her like she's drinking too much.
Yeah,
like it was so weird.
Yes,
and they still looked at her like a weirdo even after Kate was Jaclyn was the one to like do like that weird shit and like take over the little party and like take it too far and like and also throw a fit like when the kids were spraying her. She threw a fucking fit. That shit was weird too.
Yeah.
But that's her showing her true colors.
Yes.
Right. I thought it was interesting, too, with the Jaclyn piece that... Okay, not with Jaclyn. Is there something wrong with the fact that Laurie was forcing Jaclyn to admit she slept with that guy? Like, is that bad boundaries to be like...
I don't feel like that's bad boundaries because I think that was Laurie taking a stance. Like, are we going to be authentic or not? Are we really locked in or not? And if we're not, it needs to be known that we're surface level. We need to make an establishment of, like, we need to establish where we're at.
I think that forcing her to talk about it is... like wrong and like maybe like, you know, maybe she really was trying to like not let people know what's happening and shit like that, but also like you snuck him into the villa. Like you had to know that like somebody might like if somebody says, "Hey, did you do this?" Like you kind of gotta fess up.
Well, and I need to know where we are. I deserve to know where we are.
The hardest part, I
As
think,
friends.
and this is, I think, the reason why it's not bogus. This is the only reason, in my opinion. I get the authenticity thing, but I think it's already was established in their friendship that they're not authentic. So I feel like she wanted her to admit it. She's like, admit the thing we all know is true. Like she wanted her to admit it because I think that Laurie was willing to go there and be authentic.
Yes.
So she was kind of calling them out in their own way.
Yes.
The part that felt wrong about what Jaclyn did is that the guy that she slept with, she was pretending she wanted Laurie to sleep with, and that was the part that was wrong.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of like you were
and
gassing
her to do it.
You were gassing your ugly friend up to try with this guy, and then she
But
fucked
because
the
you
guy.
secretly wanted it to fail. You secretly wanted to see her fall flat in her face, and then when she was
You
like,
think so? Yeah.
Yes, and then when she was unbothered and not really interested in it, it wasn't enough. So you're like, well, I'll just fuck him then. But I'm like, she
knew that guy was never gonna fuck her.
Yeah, and unless she threw herself, which she had to. And I think she just sucks because she just like she weaponizes everyone's like empathy and like she uses her ego to just kind of drive her. Jaclyn was not it. I was not feeling her.
She's a deeply unhappy person.
I didn't feel like she had a single authentic moment.
No. Even when she came to apologize, I'm sorry I slept with Valentine. I didn't know you cared. That wasn't even what it was about.
She got off the phone, or she ended it with that guy and literally got on the phone with her man and started like she's like
it was just very just you have the whole world. It should be enough, right?
Do you have any more notes on the friends?
I feel like Laurie is her punching bag for sure. I feel like that's the group scapegoat.
Interesting.
I really do. I think that because she's clearly the more poor friend of the two of them. I think they
absolutely.
Yeah. So I think they try to act like super neutral about it. They don't care. I think they do care, and I think that's like what bonds. Some of the reason what bonds them is like can be like, oh,
could never be Laurie. That was the energy.
Can never be Laurie, and also pats on our back for including her.
I actually didn't get the feeling, maybe, and this might be me, like that she had less money than Kate. I just felt like she was the breadwinner.
Who? Like
that Laurie was making a lot of money or was making enough money, like being a lawyer, doing whatever. Kate's a stay-at-home mom. And so she's like, well, my man makes the money.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like it was, which maybe still is a class difference.
I felt like
she was using it as a class
They were like, oh, she bet on her career and like she bet wrong.
Yeah.
That was the other thing was like, because remember they were having the side conversations about how she didn't get the promotion or whatever she thought she was going to get.
Yes. And that she's burnt out from her or whatever. But I also feel like she's the most normal. She also she was complaining about work. But I don't really remember her like she wasn't really complaining.
She was the most authentic, which I also think is like if you go with the theory that she had a little bit less money, that also tracks like class wise. That the way you interact socially is different when you have less money.
Right.
I really wanted to ask you to kind of share a little bit about that last conversation where they all quote made up, because you initially texted Rachel and I very excited, and then you sat on it longer and you were like, fuck that.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh my God, like it was so wholesome and sweet. Obviously all that matters is how much fun they have together. And then I slept out and I was like, actually, no, that's not all that matters. And they were actually kind of super just like dismissive of her feelings. And it just kind of gave that like Jaclyn sees those two, Kate and Laurie, as like her employees. And like y'all just have to do and jump through the hoops what I say in order to be included.
Whatever vibes I set, y'all need to be with it.
And it just further proved how hollow and like not authentic their friendship is, which is not a win. And then at the end of the day, but that's a lot of common, I think, with friend groups. That's a common misconception is like, oh, sacrifice whatever for the vibes of the friend group because that's what's more important. No, it's actually not. It's actually not, and that's actually how toxic friend groups get started. No, but like you know what I'm saying.
Though.
Most people are like, no, the vibe is more important. It's not. It's not. Not if you care about real authenticity and real long-lasting friendships.
The relationships are the important part, people, not the vibes.
Not the vibes.
I immediately heard. So Laurie looked at Jaclyn and goes, you have a beautiful face. And she looked at Kate and said, you have a beautiful life. We know she doesn't think Kate has a beautiful life because she would never be a stay-at-home mom with a Trump supporter husband.
Exactly.
And we know that even if she thinks Jaclyn's pretty or not, she knows that that's all Jaclyn has. So
Jaclyn ate that up. Like,
Jaclyn was so happy to hear.
Shady.
yeah, she loved it. She loved it.
She loved every second of it. And then it, like, the last scene we had of them was cutting to them all laughing and drinking, which I also think is like a pretty pertinent part of this trip is like
Drinking.
not just drinking.
No, but
like this whole notion of like, it's lavish and like we're living it up and like we're like it's about the vibe and like, oh my God, we as friends went to Thailand. Like they're more excited about posting the pictures and telling everybody that they went to Thailand and they had a good time.
Like Jaclyn was mad they were on like the side with like older people and people that weren't hot and shit like that. Yep.
Well, and she was mad because she asked for a recommendation and that's what she got. So she was actually mad because she thought that the guy they asked perceived her as old.
he did. He played her. That was intentional. He tried to shade her for sure.
And she deserved it.
Which is what made it more worse. Even more worse that you fucked him.
Yeah.
He shaded you and you still fucked him. Like,
And
please, so pick me. So pick me. Please. Play it in your face.
And he also did the like mind games of like, oh, if you want a real fun time, I have to be there.
Yep.
To do the thing. So that was interesting. I wish they would have showed us who paid the bills for all the drinks and shots when they were at the club that night.
That would have been so much better. That would've added a good
I would have been really
Literally.
interested to see that. I thought it was interesting too because just like the three of them, I felt like Kate was equally ready to have a superficial relationship and was actually mad when authenticity was coming up. So like when Laurie was sharing anger and stuff, Kate was being like, shh, don't say anything, don't show your emotions, don't share your emotions. And like, I just feel like Kate was down. Yeah. She was down to be along for the ride, whatever the ride looked like, and she did not care.
Yep. Absolutely, 100%.
The next I want to talk about is Chelsea and Rick. That's the couple on there.
Weird asses. Strange motherfuckers.
I just couldn't believe all the shit online that was like, oh, a true love story.
Ew.
Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, Rick is not a love story. That is a fucking cautionary tale, baby. Yes. Like, you know, like early 20, like young women being like, oh, they were, the way she fell in the water, it was yin and yang. I'm like, this was a caution. This was a warning. This was a warning.
You are not supposed to be with that man, baby girl.
Well, and whatever we were talking about earlier about being codependent and making someone else your whole entire project, like that was a perfect example of that. And look what happened.
She was on the ride with him.
You got burnt just like him. Like,
yeah. So Chelsea and Rick end up dying and they take us on this emotional roller coaster because basically Chelsea is consumed with Rick's essence and soul. It's so interesting because I don't even get the sense that she feels like they have soul ties because he gets her or sees her. I feel like she thinks they have soul ties because she gets him and sees him.
She's like, that's enough.
Like she literally is acting like she came to this planet and was born onto this planet to save Rick. And Rick could care less. There's not a single time in the show besides their beach scene where they hug
the very end,
that he shows any intimacy or love towards her.
And we actually learn nothing about her, but we learn about him, even if like, you know, just like superficially about his family, which I feel like is a sign about like that, you know, their whole life is about him. Traveling where he wants, excavating his shit. Like we don't know anything about her.
No, we don't know anything about her. And it's interesting because I think the assumption I made before she ever opened her mouth and they just showed her in the resort was like, okay, he brought her here disingenuously as a cover to go after the guy he thinks murdered his dad. But then you realize she doesn't think that.
No, she thinks at all.
Well, because it's like the only way that would be, quote, fair is if like basically she was using him for a fun trip.
Right.
But then you realize that she thinks they have soul ties. Yeah. And you're like, oh,
she's
actually,
down for whatever.
Yeah. This is really sad.
Yeah.
That she's totally like
enamored.
Well, not only that, but like the direction of her life is based on whether or not he commits this murder or not.
All based on him.
And then they took us through the emotional roller coaster in the last episode of having him choose. I felt like Rick was symbolic of choosing like the future or the past, like choosing
trauma or not,
like choosing love or hate. And he was symbolic of all those things, and they made us think he was going to choose the future and love.
They did it so well.
They did it, and then she was going to be chosen because of that. Because he chose the future and love. She was the person readily available to do that with him. I don't think he chose Chelsea at all.
No, he didn't.
She was the person readily available to do that with him
in proximity,
and he was like, "Okay, I'm ready now."
Yeah,
I'm ready ready to accept the love you've been groveling for.
Yeah.
But then succumb to anger.
And then succumb to anger because none of that was real.
Yeah.
Right. You flip.
He is hateful and he is angry and he is bitter. And they showed us that.
Mm-hmm.
He was unhappy the entire show and he couldn't wait to be rid of her at every second.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really sad that she died for somebody who only saw her value and
5 minutes.
for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Literally.
Yo.
I also thought it was really interesting that he was the one who got murdered because it was like as soon as you chose that negative thing, you died.
Yep.
Like it was like, yeah, it felt symbolic in its own way. What do you think about Chelsea and Rick? Anything else?
I just think that
Why do you think younger people would see this as beautiful? Like, what are they seeing that I don't see?
they're seeing that
I think
story oldest time tale that has been told is ride or die is what you're supposed to be, and ride or die is what gets you real love, and it's not. It's a very tired story, but it's generationally, like embedded in people.
I don't think it's embedded in the white community.
I just
You don't?
I don't. I really don't. I think that women,
Say
it's
more.
like for real, just what I experience with all the men I know who are married and stuff. It's more like,
But is that your first generation? I would say you,
it
Gen
could
X,
be my
are the
generation
It
for
is
sure.
generation.
Not your generation, but like I feel like Gen X is the first generation where white women were like, I'm leaving. This is a business transaction. You're fucking up the transaction. But I could be wrong.
Could be.
Our grandmas were not doing that.
No.
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 Yeah, that's true.
But also, young women are not really doing that. And like at this age, they're crashing out.
Okay, but wait, what were you going to say though? What do
Yeah,
you
we're
think
gonna
that
say
is the dynamic with white women?
It's more like if you do something to embarrass me or not make like that, they'll so easily distance from you and start othering you and all that stuff. I don't know.
They don't do that to black
Or if you
men.
fuck up our money.
The whole ride or die thing just doesn't, like, to me, it doesn't even feel like it exists in of course there are certain people who do, but
Ride
I
or die
think
if you
more
have
like
the
white
money.
trash people.
I also think ride or die is like a class conversation.
Yeah,
so
it
I
is.
think
It is.
I think I
That's
don't
what I
think
think, too.
I don't think
It is.
middle class people are ride or die. I think rich people are ride or die and poor people are ride or die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think middle class
For
people are
different
ride or die.
reasons.
I think
Yeah.
poor people are ride or die because they need each other financially, whether
And you
they'll
have
admit
nothing
it or
else to
not.
lose. It's just y'all.
And
Yeah.
rich people are ride or die because there's nothing else to do. Because you can.
Well, not only that, but
And
because
It's also because you feel like
losing
you can
wealth
go
and
in out.
influence, and
Right.
usually one person in the relationship has
Yeah.
more wealth and influence.
Rachel, if
than
you
the
can
other
speak
person.
into the mic, that would help too.
Exactly.
Oh,
Please.
sorry.
Yeah, you're turning to Javain
Yeah,
to
keep
talk.
turning.
Yeah.
It's because I keep turning, he said. I'm not leaning.
You are farther back than you,
You
were
can't
when
do
you did the
anything
sound
right.
test. You always do this when you sound
I
test,
just turned up the.
I was doing that too a second ago.
Just to
like-
let you know.
and then you do this during the episode.
I thought I was leaned back. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, I just feel like that.
But I do think it's a class thing, and you sound like you
Yeah.
grew up upper middle class. Gabe.
Grew up middle class, but then my parents now, I'd say, are
Upper.
We're upper middle class.
Yeah. And so like I think middle class people leave now. But I think
Now.
like really wealthy people don't, and I think that poor people don't, and I think it is. One, I think there's a lot of trauma around being poor and not like actually being. I don't think it's not having money that causes the trauma, but I think it's the circumstances you get put in because you don't have money that makes you desperate and make different choices, and you get put in traumatic situations.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are used to it being bad. So they're like, well, I might as well stay and have it be bad with this
We'll
person
both
I
suffer
ride
together
with.
in
We'll suffer
love.
together.
I know what I'm going to expect.
And then
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who are poor that literally financially, if they have children, can't swing it if they're
Yeah.
not together. They're not two income, they can't swing it. And so
Yeah.
you got to ride or die.
Right.
There is no like, there's so many people I grew up with whose like dad was beating their mom's ass
Yeah.
and they stayed.
Right.
Like no,
Right.
no talk about leaving even.
No.
No talk about it.
No.
So that's its own separate thing. But yeah, they weren't even like that interesting in terms of Chelsea and Rick, but I thought the way the storyline played out was very well done.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Like it was very well done because they took us on that emotional roller coaster
Oh,
in
yeah.
a real
I didn't
way.
think they were going to kill themselves.
Well,
I didn't see that going that way.
I didn't either, but then
I thought one of them was going to die.
when I saw him and his dad's interaction, I was like, oh, he's dying.
yeah. Yeah, or some things
Yeah.
that come of this because this is not handled. This is not settled. This is just
Yeah.
like a whole new can of worms now. Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't remember. Did Chelsea run to him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm. And then they fell in the water, and it looked like yin and yang the way they fell in the water, like she had said earlier in the season. Like we're just yin
They were
and
like
yang.
this.
They were, and that's the price that you pay when you want to,
Why would somebody like her want to be with somebody like him? Like, why?
Well, I assume because she doesn't want to. It helps her not focus on her own shit. Like, because even when I feel like she felt seen for the first time ever when she was talking to
That friend?
yes, the son for
They
the
were
Ratliff.
emotionally in the same place.
And when she felt like the seen versus the seer, she didn't know what to do with it, and she was uncomfortable. And so I feel like we don't
Very
know enough.
insightful.
We don't know enough context about her past life, but like something about being the seer. She really liked that space. She really enjoyed that space.
Did her
And the
teeth
pursuer.
play into it?
Huh?
Did her teeth play into it?
You know
People
what's
loved her teeth.
people loved them.
And then they
Really?
hated it when SNL did a skit, and now it's like
Oh, really?
yeah, SNL did a skit, and of course they dramatized her looks, and so now she's like everyone's all like in uproar about it. Like, how dare SNL's never been funny? How dare you make fun of her? But I'm also like, this is the same internet that calls people ugly and fat
And she
for sport.
knows.
Like,
She's
please,
not new to this.
please, and also
No,
No,
let's
she
be
wrote
honest,
It was
it's a-
hurtful and stuff. She actually did a big
did she?
yeah.
what?
Oh, I didn't see all that.
What was
She
her
wrote a
response?
thing how she was so personally injured by it, and that it was
Well,
like
then don't
That's-
be an actress. I don't know. Like,
I think it's really interesting though because
gotta
I
go,
also
bro.
think like, let's be honest, you have money, so you chose not to fix your teeth so that you look
Mhm.
interesting.
Come on,
and I
bro.
have to be honest that like it's a flex that you can have teeth like that and still be pretty enough to be an actress.
Yes,
And you knew that.
yes. You got to
and
be
you
the-
knew that.
And you knew that.
And that's why you did it. Because
And
if
you
you
knew that.
didn't, you would have fixed your fucking teeth. There's not an ugly person that anybody thinks they're making a statement when they have fucked up teeth.
No.
She's making a statement, and
Yeah.
everybody knows it, and she did that on purpose.
Girl,
And it-
nobody knew who you were before this.
It's like when who's the actress from Dirty Dancing?
Jennifer.
Beals. Jennifer Beals.
No,
No.
not Beals.
Stop
know
saying
her name.
that.
I
No,
forget
it's
her
not
name.
her.
Oh, this is killing me.
Jennifer, look
I'll
it
look
up,
it up.
Gabe. But like she was known for like being pretty with her fucked
Yeah.
up nose, and then
Yeah.
she fixed her nose, and she
Yeah.
never got another movie again.
Yep.
Like
So
there are women who are like have this one feature that's quote supposed to be ugly. It's like when stunning women with straight teeth have a small gap.
Mhm.
It's so
You
cute.
kept it
Jennifer Grey.
to look
Jennifer Grey, thank you.
Yeah, you kept it to look unique, and all of a sudden now it's. I just feel like it's just an opportunity. Like you're taking the opportunity to be like everyone's being mean to me.
Oh, for sure.
It's just like please.
Girl, you also knew going on this the biggest show in fucking America.
Well, and,
People
like,
got- you have to know.
Beautiful people get
That's cute of
ripped
me.
down all the time. People who are conventionally perfect looking still get like please. Y'all tore Megan Thee Stallion up. I don't want to hear it.
Over what?
I don't want to hear it.
Over what?
Just
Looks
calling
wise?
Her being big.
Yeah.
People were just like
she's
her
tall. She
being
looks like a
big.
man. She looks like a horse because she's like.
I was
please.
blown away by that.
Please, Megan is stunning.
Yeah,
Also,
Megan
no, I
Victoria
agree.
Monet.
I didn't.
Oh, I was like, am I straight? I'm straight, right?
I'm
Straight,
not.
straight. I would get in the middle of that, but I'm straight.
So, in the interest of gender fairness,
Yeah.
and because I actually wanted to ask you guys this anyway, is Walter Goggins sexy?
No,
Who is
and
that?
nobody's talking about his big-headed ass. This is him.
But you know what?
No one's talking about him.
Yeah.
She actually does look good in both, though.
She looks better with the
does.
nose because
She
it's more of a
looks-
flex. She looks like a regular person
Yeah.
here. She looks special in the first one.
He looks like a guy, like a white
Not
guy that
special
I,
ed.
I know what
looks
you
like
Special.
a
mean. I
white
know what
guy
you
that
mean.
I would flirt with at a bar on vacation.
He looks like he has to
be honest.
has to depend on his personality and aura to get somebody.
His hair is
No.
awful, but his smile is nice.
No. It depends on how old you are. If you're 50 and he's 50, he's great looking.
He's
Yeah.
great looking.
If you look like Chelsea, he's not. You
He's
like
not.
old. You like daddies.
you like
Yes.
it, yeah.
You
Yeah.
like daddies.
yeah. Like I mean,
Yeah.
You
if
like
I
he's a
was
little
50
gruff, you
and
like
that was
he's
my
a little around it, like
if I was 50 and that was my husband, I'd be like, he's not overweight. He still has
Yeah.
hair, even though it's not
He's
great.
amazing.
He
Yeah.
like he looks great for his age.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, like, am I gonna be like, oh, he looks younger than he is? No.
But Chelsea in her prime, yeah, no, that's no out of his league for sure.
But they also kind of match.
Well, they matched because they made it match on the show.
They made the match.
Yeah.
They
I
made
think
them
they
match.
match.
They made them match.
Or like as far, yeah.
They made them match. Like they made their energies and
Mhm.
all that shit match. And she was so centered around him. And like earlier on the live when I was talking about that codependency piece of like,
You ever see him in Righteous Gemstones? That's good.
He's a fucking brilliant actor. He's
He
so
is.
funny.
He is
Brilliant.
amazing.
Mhm.
He is amazing.
He's so funny in
So
Righteous
funny.
Gemstones.
So
like
good.
it's
And the range. He
insanely
has the
funny.
range. He has
That's one of the
And he was on
funniest
that
characters of
cowboy
all
show.
time.
Mm-hmm.
But Chelsea is constantly watching and monitoring. She's mood monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
She's constantly like trying to perceive what's going on with him and correct it.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, like she was picking up on the fact that he was going to do something terrible. So it's not like it was necessarily an overreaction, but like they would be at dinner and like he'd be crabby and like I didn't feel like there was a single point in time wherein it was really about her. It was more like, when are you going to be happy? But it wasn't really like, why the fuck are you ruining my time
No,
right
literally.
And they have like one
Literally.
good sexual experience the whole trip.
Mm-hmm.
After he like that's it.
Yep.
Do you think if your New Year man was gonna be like a school shooter, what would you do?
I need more context.
Like this.
Like this? This isn't School Shooter.
This is not School Shooter.
I mean, I'm just being silly.
Like just
Um,
unhinged. Like
yeah,
just
yeah.
Well, first of all, clearly he used to be a mercenary, so she knows the fuck she's signing up for. He's like a retired mercenary.
Yep. That's why he has money.
Is the energy.
And that's why his skills of like
Like the first episode or two, you couldn't really tell if he was there to like be for like a paid kill
Or for some
or
sex
if it was
shit.
personal.
Yeah.
No, a paid kill or a personal kill. You couldn't really tell.
you knew
There
it was a hit
kill.
regardless.
You knew it was a hit,
Yeah,
but you
yeah.
couldn't tell if it was a paid hit or not.
Yep.
The entire first part of the episode.
I thought
So
it was also sexual at the beginning, but maybe that was just me.
I didn't pick up
Okay,
on that.
okay.
But I just like I didn't actually think anything about him was sexually motivated at all, which is age appropriate actually. But I didn't think anything about him was sexually motivated. Like I felt like he could care less that he had this hot young girlfriend. He was like,
Not about
move
her.
on. Yeah, go.
But not.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Not about her. I got the feeling, and even when he met up with Homeboy, I was like,
But he didn't fuck.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I'm like, I felt like there was some like he was like trying to get in. He was also weird. Like, yeah, he was gonna kill the guy, but he was also like off her and like into
didn't
some
get
other
that.
shit. So I was like, what is he into?
I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Because even that night that his friend went off the rails and had like hooked up with all those hookers, he didn't.
Well, after that, then I knew. But I'm saying
Are you talking
before
about when
that.
he was telling him that weird ass story? About how he was
That's what I'm
like-
saying. Like before that, not after that. Before that, I was like, he could still do some weird shit. Like he was kind of down for whatever. He was like, I don't care about this and I don't care about this. I'm like, okay.
There was some weird.
I didn't get that
Yeah,
vibe.
there was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't get that vibe. I just got like she's here because it makes me not weird that she's here, and that's
Yeah,
the
it's
only
like a
reason
cover.
she's here. And
She's
she
a
literally
beard.
died
It's
as
a great
his cover.
Mhm.
She's a beard, a murder beard.
She's a murder beard. Yes.
Murder beard.
All right. Next one I want to talk about before we get to the Ratliffs is the Black Lady Belinda.
Yes.
I'm calling her the Black Lady, so Gabe knows, not for the audience. It's already knows.
Pornchai.
Pornchai.
Why was that his name? That
not
really-
you not knowing the unnamed actors' real names.
Yeah, you know. You remember that one?
That's fucked.
Pornchai.
I know that
So-
she was what's it called, Natasha Rothwell.
But you don't know her real name. Or
Natasha
her
Rothwell.
That's what I'm saying. Because
her
you know her real
actress
name, you
name.
don't know her actress name. But because he's a nobody, you know his actor name. Is what I'm saying. What did you think about them?
I thought it was at first I thought it was very forced. I was like,
I
why?
thought
What
so
is
too.
this? What's going on? But then I quickly realized, like, oh no, this is a significant part of the story. This is very much relevant.
Which
And-
part felt forced? Them hooking up or something else?
Yes, the whole attraction in general seemed forced to me. But I was also like, okay, maybe it's just like a Stella got a groove back kind of vibe. Like whatever, her son's not there yet. Maybe they're just trying to let Belinda have some fun. But after they hooked up and he was talking about starting that business, I was like, okay, this is like a recall from season 2.
They're mirroring.
Or 1 or season 1. Where you were in his position. And so it was just interesting to see like how that played out, especially with the finale. I mean, it just was.
So something that was really interesting about Belinda to me is like the entire time she felt like a passenger in her life. Like all of the seasons, honestly, she felt like a passenger in her life. Like she didn't have that much control, that much say.
She was
in
the
what
same
was
status
doing.
as the staff. Like she was the same boat. Yeah.
I mean, she was the staff.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting to me. And then when it came to the point where she was dealing with Greg, Tanya's ex-husband, she was acting like a passenger in that too. Like, well, he's gonna do what he wants to do, and I just don't want to be involved.
I don't
want to
have any parts. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I thought it was interesting that like once she finally allowed like her son basically to take control, she got what she always
The
wanted.
whole thing was so weird to me.
Yeah,
Which
same
part?
here.
What part?
Just like him negotiating and him being, I'm like, I felt like it was random. I feel like
It was random. I feel like the writer wanted us to feel like he was going to fail the entire
Yes.
time. It was.
Yes.
I was having
Yes.
secondhand embarrassment watching him try.
Oh, I was like,
Yes,
skipping through it.
absolutely.
I was like, you have to watch this so that you get later on.
What's
but
going
I did
on,
not
yep.
want to watch that scene.
Yeah.
I could not take it.
But it's so interesting because, and I actually don't think the writer did this on purpose. Maybe he did, but like how uncomfortable we were watching somebody who was Black and lower class trying to be ridiculous and negotiate.
I think they did.
And play that game and
how uncomfortable we were watching him play the game versus like a Saxon.
Yes.
Like if Saxon did that, we wouldn't have felt like that. We'd be like, oh, here, douchebag. But like watching him do it, it was like out of character and we were all uncomfortable.
And it was like his first time negotiating. He was like, I'm straight out of business school. It was just was very green. It was very like new. Yeah.
But Saxon's green too, but he comes across like I've been here. I'm supposed to be here. And he doesn't come like her son didn't come across like he's supposed to be here.
No. Or that he thinks that even.
So he ends up negotiating. They get the $5 million, and the thing. First of all,
and boy, does she
I need to be honest, right? I felt totally different about her selling off into the sunset than Tanya. I feel like Tanya was bogus.
Yes.
I felt happy for Belinda.
I felt happy for Belinda.
I felt happy that she was selling off into the sunset with some money and some stability.
With her son and not with some man. Yeah, exactly.
It was all great. But then after I was like, wait a second. Why do I feel like she doesn't owe Pornchai anything, but Tanya owed her something?
Oh, interesting.
Why do I feel like she owed Pornchai something, but Tanya owed? But you know what I'm saying?
Is it just off of her being a Black woman, we want a Black woman to win, or does it feel different?
No. I see what you're saying. Like Tanya would have owed her something because she used Belinda in a way. She used her for emotional support. That was her emotional. Did she use Pornchai?
Yeah, she did.
What did she use Pornchai for?
She was lonely. She used him for sex, and when it was convenient,
Pornchai pushed up on her.
No.
She invited him to stay the night in her room.
I forgot about that. She invited
She used him because she was afraid of Greg. She used him because she was afraid of Greg. And she used him to fantasize about her dream life, which is what Tanya used Belinda for. She used him to fantasize about what her life would be when she was broke. And then it was funny that once she got money, she acted like everybody else who has money on the show.
Yeah, I forgot about him. The working dream wasn't really her dream. She was like, well, I think I actually want to take some time off and not do anything, which is fine. I was happy for her.
Yeah.
But it also is like, oh, actually working isn't the dream.
Isn't it? Right.
I think the thing about Belinda that felt different than Tanya is whether it's true or not, it felt like Belinda earned her money and Tanya didn't.
Belinda had earned this. She
didn't earn it though. She didn't earn it.
It felt like she did.
It felt like she did.
She didn't.
She happened onto a situation.
No, she compromised.
She didn't compromise. I don't think that. I don't even
on her morals and values.
I don't think she compromised on her morals and values because I don't think that she made it very clear at the beginning she wanted to turn him in and nobody wanted to. I think she would have been unsafe if she tried to turn him in. So I don't think she compromised.
For sure.
Well, I don't think using this man is compromising on your morals and values. Yeah. Maybe you think different.
No. I don't think that, but I think for the purpose of the show, like the device that she is she was kind of like the moral center for the last like couple seasons or whatever. Like she was kind of, and so they kind of made it where like, oh, at a certain point, like everyone
has a break.
I think the moral center was Gaitok.
And I would do the same. I think I would do the same thing.
I thought the moral center was Gaitok.
I did too.
Wait, what do you mean?
I did too.
I don't follow.
Gaitok was the guy who was the security guy.
Yes, okay.
He was the moral center, I think, of this season because
I think so too.
He was the one who very clearly compromised his values
at the end. Yes.
At the end. If you really think about it in that same episode, he was choosing his morals literally until he got put on the spot. And then he chose
quite literally, that's true.
He chose
like Buddhism
money.
This, Buddhism that.
He chose money over that. I felt like
it's status,
we felt like Belinda earned it, and maybe it was just through pain and suffering that we felt like she earned it.
That's what I mean.
We watched her suffer 2 other seasons, but the whole time I was like, there's literally no reason why you can't drop him $500,000 and it would change his whole life. And you literally don't give a fuck to do that. $250,000.
That brought me seeing his face.
$250,000 US dollars in Thailand could have changed his life, and like it would have meant nothing out of the $5 million. You know, so it was it was very like
greedy.
This is mine. And it wasn't even greedy. It was just like
I thought so. A little.
No, because zoom out. And this is kind of the same thing with Tanya, and I just think we had less empathy for her. But zoom out. If I'm keying with you over a week at vacation, I don't owe you shit.
Oh, yeah.
Not really. She slept with him and had a couple conversations. And it's the same with Tanya minus the sleeping with him. But we felt like Tanya was a monster. Yeah. Just because we had a couple conversations about what could be doesn't mean I really owe you shit.
Right.
But we felt like she was a monster because she didn't own... She didn't deserve her well. She was white. I think that was part of it.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah, I think her whiteness made people judge her harder.
And she was more irritating.
Yeah. So it's just interesting to be like who we think deserves to be selfish and who we think doesn't. Because at the end of the day, none of them owed each other anything. Tanya, Belinda, Pornchai, you don't owe a man something because you slept with him a couple times and said sweet nothings.
No.
And
Yeah.
Tiny didn't owe her anything because they had a couple dinners where she acted interested in Belinda.
It's
But
true.
like that's how it felt.
Selling a dream is the part that feels
But-
hard to digest.
But if someone sells you a dream, do you have to cash it out in half
true.
a mil? Not really.
it's
No.
true.
No.
It's true.
Anything else about Belinda and Pornchai before we move on to the Ratliffs?
No, I think that's good.
All right,
Yeah.
Gabe. Last but not least,
Ratcliffe.
Ratliffs.
Duke, go Duke. Oi.
Okay.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So every season there's a family that's messy as fuck, and the Ratliffs, I think is actually what it is, not Cliffs.
Yeah, not Ratcliffe's, Ratliffs.
Ratliffs.
which is actually kind of worse if you think
That's
about
way
it.
worse. That's why I keep saying Ratcliffs. Ratliffs were really, I think, interesting dynamic. There was 5 of them. There was 2 boys, and then the girl was like the middle child. And the way they set that up was really interesting because initially I thought that Jaclyn was going to be the vulnerable victim in the show. I thought he was going to be the victim. And none of them were really victims. They all kind of held their own in the family system.
Yeah.
Which I
And had their own toxicity and had their own issues they brought to the table. Whether you liked one or more than the other, like
Boy, did that ending throw me with her.
they
with
were.
that sister.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about that first. So the sister Piper brings them on this trip or whatever because she's totally like
Enamored with
how she's going to be a Buddhist and not want things because she basically is trying to work through all of her white privilege and
her trauma.
and her wealth privilege too, like the combination. But I think more wealth than whiteness, but like her wealth privilege.
She was
and
uncomfortable with that for sure.
She's uncomfortable with how easy life was for her. She was uncomfortable with being wealthy, and she had this, I think, dream. It wasn't like she was going to give up all of her money, but I think she thought if she went and like was poor for a year for fake or whatever, or 2 years, that it was going to give her some kind of spiritual clarity.
Yes.
And I believed her. I can't believe I got God.
I did too.
The whole time I got
did
God.
too.
I totally thought she was about it. I was like, she really wants this. She really sees that our family's full of shit. She really sees all these things she didn't see.
I was like, she's just
none
like
of it.
Jaclyn.
her mama took a breath and she took a breath. As soon as her
Listen.
mom took a breath, bro.
She stayed one night there and said the food's not good. And I just thought that was really interesting because when it came to that she actually didn't want to slum it and that she couldn't even make it for one night and she was miserable, I was like, of course. Of course. Why would you opt out of wealth and like comfort?
At that level.
That's not how you go about
You're going
it.
from the 4 seasons to also going and sleeping in a monastery. Be fucking for real, bitch.
Yeah, when
You
they
were setting
did
yourself,
that
like-
when they did that cutscene to them cobwebs in the corner, I
Ain't
knew.
no way.
I knew it. I was like, oh, it's a wrap.
Ain't no
Maybe
way.
it's
And
a
the
wrap.
nasty
She out of there.
food?
Yeah, I was like, she out of there. She's out of there.
What did you think about kind of her mom's take of being like, it would be disrespectful not to enjoy our privilege and wealth. We live better than everybody in
It was
the
like
world.
kings and queens. That is how they think, but
But
it's
it's
just
real.
weird. It is
It's actually
real.
true.
Oh, it's true.
Not the disrespect piece. I
No.
don't know if that's real,
No,
but
that's
it's
like-
I feel
real.
like that's what she tells herself to like help her enjoy it without having any.
What do you think?
heard-
You're around wealthy people more than us.
What do I think about it? What do
Yeah, I
think
mean,
about
you're
it?
not nearly as wealthy as the Ratliff,
like-
but you're around wealth.
Yeah.
How do they think?
I think that what they really think is that what they say is it's our job to be like philanthropic, to give back. We have to use our wealth for good, things like that. But I don't actually think that most.
Do you think people actually feel bad about being wealthy? I don't.
No.
I actually think a lot of wealthy people don't even go on the we should be grateful route. I actually think they go on the we earned this and deserve
Yes.
it route.
Yes. We worked hard for this.
I don't think that ultra wealthy people do.
Really?
I think that they've moved. I think that they don't. I think that they know that that's socially. I'm sure some do, but what I've heard is more like the philanthropic angle. Like we have so much, we have to whatever. They might even own up to like we get a tax break, but like they're not. They're really dying on the hill of like we donated to the arts, right? Or we donated to like the whatever, and.
I bet it depends on if it's generational money or if it's
It
the
does.
person.
Well,
who did
Ratliff
it.
seem generational.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They were insinuating generational for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Generational money wants you to know that they like support the arts, support this foundation, support this thing. It's it's also like you do that because you actually get people start foundations because they get tax breaks.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to give it to the government or do you want the
Right.
social capital
Yeah.
you get from a
Right.
foundation?
Exactly.
What'd you guys think of the Ratliff mom, Victoria?
I mean, she was
In
Just
what
in
way?
general.
There's so much.
Just in general. So one thing that struck me about her
I know
is that
people like her.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that she seems familiar.
I thought that she played dumb or like not observant at times, but she was actually clocking everything all the time.
Yeah, I was
Right.
surprised that the finale didn't end with her being like, "Oh, don't worry, I have a second account off and blah blah blah, where all our money is." Like,
No, it didn't give that. It gave like clocking social interactions.
oh yes,
and, like,
for sure, yeah.
watching her husband and watching like watching the kids and those kinds of things.
That is how women with a lot of money act. Like, why are you talking to me? Like, very much like you're walking up and interrupting. Like, why? Like, you should know. Like when her interaction with Kate.
Well, I feel like that was because she didn't want any. I feel like she knew about the scandal. They didn't say that, but they were insinuating the whole show that she knew something was up, because she was like, "I don't." To me, it gave, "I don't want anyone to know I'm here."
She did, but then she perked up when what's her name? She was like, "Oh, that's so and so." So it's like somebody beneath her, somebody who's like, whatever. Like, I don't know you. I don't remember you. Why are you talking to me? That was like,
That's how you read it.
yeah.
I thought it was interesting, like how many times throughout the show that people were essentially saying, you know, like all of the wealthy kids in that family and the wife had said in their own ways, "I will not survive being poor."
Yeah.
And the dad was quite literally considering killing them rather than letting them down in that way.
Except Lachlan.
Except Lachlan.
Just leave Lachlan and deal with all
barely.
the grief by himself.
Well, Lachlan was saying that he would be fine.
I know, but I'm just like, how delusional are you? You're going to leave your one son alive to deal with all the grief of his family being gone? I'm like, please, this is not the answer.
And the youngest one who can't do shit.
Right. Like, just
He's not even out of high school.
Just
How real is it that people who are ultra wealthy would rather die than be poor? I think it's
that's
quite
very
real.
I think that was the whole point of those conversations, is to show like some people would legitimately be like, I would rather die.
I mean, I know older women who were like, well, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do if am I set up?
If I have
like,
to be
that's their first
uncomfortable,
question.
what do you, what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how my grandmother's friends talked. I mean, they're like, they're
Interesting.
very like, yeah, just, I can't imagine like if I had to stay in a different like home, or I can't imagine if I didn't like, if the car service couldn't come and get me, like I would have to like those type of things.
I feel so torn because their quality of life is so good, but also how could you, I don't know if I could exist being that fragile.
Yeah.
Oh,
That would be the part that's like really hard, is like to live in
Every
fear
little
that
thing
if
is a
this
slight.
was to, not even that, to live in fear that if like things, I think they don't live in fear because they convince themselves that their wealth is stable, but to have this little voice in the back of your mind that like if you lose any of this, you won't be okay,
can't survive.
is I think kind of tormenting
But they
in
do
its own
feel
way.
slighted. Like even Piper, what's her name's character, she felt slighted when they like weren't doing things the right way, when there wasn't like whatever, and that's how they feel, is like, well, I deserve this.
No, I'm not disagreeing that they feel slighted. I'm saying I could live with feeling slighted.
Yes.
I couldn't live with feeling like
Yes.
if I lose this, I'm going to die.
Yes. Yes.
Like I can't imagine being like, if I'm not ultra wealthy,
I won't live.
I don't want to function and I don't know how to function. And I think that's one of the like traps with being ultra wealthy, is that everyone around you is like, well, your life is easy and you should be being successful and you should do really great. And I think kids who grow up ultra wealthy actually have a lot of pressure.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You have to keep it.
And I felt
Keep
like,
wealth.
you know, Saxon, so the oldest brother, Saxon, it's really interesting. What did you guys make of him getting up and going and masturbating in the bathroom at that first episode? And they had like Lachlan look, and then he kind of lingered with the door open and closed it.
I think they were foreshadowing, but at the time it felt like he was more Lachlan.
Creepy.
Lachlan was more like, it was creepy, but he was like, look at your older brother type shit. A little groovy.
I feel like it was initially supposed to be like, this is how you do it.
Yes.
Kinda like from the older brother, but then there was this weird like,
there's some like Roman weird shit.
there was just this weird pedestal his brother put him on, and just like, I don't know, like it was very odd and uncomfortable. But I think that scene specifically was the brother being like, this is what you do as a man, this is how you do it, this is what people do, unless you're a weirdo and a freak, this is what you do.
Yeah.
So too.
I also like, so Lachlan loses his virginity in quotes. I
Yeah,
don't actually think he was a virgin.
No.
Loses his
Not the way he was choking on that scene, baby. No.
he loses his virginity while they're on drugs, and then he jacks off Saxon. And Saxon, you can tell, was incoherent during the jack off, but comes. I think.
No, they insinuated that.
He comes, yeah.
They insinuated that.
Did he jack him off or was he masturbating watching?
No, he jacked him off.
He thought he was just masturbating.
And he was disgusted by it. And then as he cleared up, he realized that Lachlan had jacked him off.
Yeah.
Right.
And then when he was like, he passively confronted Lachlan, and Lachlan just went for it and was like, I'm a pleaser.
Yeah,
And basically said he jacked him off because he wanted him to feel included.
Yeah.
He's like, I felt bad that you were just watching.
Which I couldn't tell if he really truly meant that or if it was just a way to fuck with them psychologically.
I think he seemed earnest. He seems that.
Did he?
Yeah, he seemed that pick me, like the male pick me.
Yeah, yeah.
What else about the Ratliffs? I'm never gonna say it right.
Ratliff.
I mean, yeah, I just think that was
the most shocking scene.
It was interesting too how they all three. This isn't an original take at all, but how they all. I saw something about how like they all three. Going into the trip, there was like a scene of them three on the boat, and then leaving the trip, they showed them three, and it just seemed like they all kind of switched roles. Like Saxon had some weird like spiritual awakening kind of thing, and then like Lachlan also. I don't know.
No, that's so true.
Yeah, like they switched.
Saxon went from being like the superficial one to actually the one who was like the most in tune.
Yeah.
Piper went from being the most in tune one to being the most superficial one. And then Lachlan went from being like the victim to the mastermind.
Yes.
Like they all switched
hats.
They all switched hats. Now that you say that, that's very true.
Yeah.
It all flip-flopped.
Yep.
They all flip-flopped.
And I thought that was
What do
really
we think of the dad, Tim?
Oh, God, besides that he's a freaking moron.
Yeah.
So familiar to me.
And then it's reactionary
He's
and just an idiot.
Worker. Like, I feel like that's how, like, but that's what happens with ultra wealthy, like, they do like the murder-suicide shit, or they end up in jail, or they, like, because it's like everything hinges on the wealth. Everything hinges on the keeping up with the Joneses, kind of.
It was
Do
crazy.
you think Tim liked his kids?
No, he was disappointed. I think he ended up liking...
Lachlan.
Yeah.
He definitely likes Lachlan.
And he respected his daughter for a second when they were having that one conversation.
He respected his daughter when he thought that she was for real, like, I'm about to go live uncomfortably in Thailand and for the better of, for the greater good.
But Saxon, I felt like he was like, well, you're like me, and I don't really
He was
like
disappointed
me.
in Saxon, for sure. He was like, dang, you're just...
But Saxon was the one kind of paying him the most attention and wanting, like, his dad's approval.
Yeah, but it was to, like, look cool and be involved in the business and be, like, you know, seem like you're really doing something. Because, like you said, without the business, I have nothing else. He had nothing else going for his life. That was his personality, essentially.
It really actually came out throughout the shows that Saxon was very self-aware and that he was actually overperforming because he actually knows all of his deficits. Like, overperforming out loud. Like, he knows that what he has is wealth and influence and nothing. And being fit.
And he said to
and
his
nothing
dad,
else. And he overplayed it almost. He knows that.
Yeah.
Well, and he said to his dad, he was like, this is all I have.
Yeah. No, he's actually the most self-aware, I think.
Yeah.
And I think Piper was on a dream.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Like, oh my God, maybe I'll just escape from who I am altogether. You know, because it also wasn't like she was going to stop being rich. She was just going to go play house for a year or two.
And then pat herself on the back, like, well, I did something really hard.
And go back.
And then she couldn't even do that. So I think that was a reality check. That was the reality check.
Yeah.
Her brother was really going to do it, though.
Her brother was about it. I feel like that's what pissed her off even more.
It did piss her off.
Yeah.
Because he kept being like, I'm excited for this. And she was like, I'll cut myself right now.
Yeah.
Do you guys wish that we could have seen the kids' reaction to finding out?
Yes. Oh my God. I wanted to see all the reactions. I wanted to see all of it. I wanted to see how it played out, even if it wasn't going to be a long.
They did that on purpose.
They did it on purpose.
I know.
And how interesting that, like, now they have this thing and he has this thing, and, like, that's even more insidious than, like.
And I wanted to know how much the wife knew or didn't know.
It was really hard to tell. It was really hard to tell. Because she was also pretending like she didn't know that dad had taken her drugs and was taking them. And she obviously knew that.
Lorazepam.
Yeah.
Yeah. You knew
who was taking your...
Yeah.
Your dad's just jet lag.
Yeah. Like, please. I wanted more insight on that. I'm praying and
it plays into, like, her biggest deal is, like, just protecting her husband.
Yeah.
Protecting, like, the outside of the family.
Who's going to make it to season 4? Because they always have...
Belinda.
You think it's going to be Belinda?
I think Belinda's going to make it. And
you think she's going to be a guest on the next resort?
I think she'll be a guest.
Yeah, a guest.
I think she'll be a guest the next resort.
I don't know if anybody's going to make it.
I think Belinda
might start from scratch.
They have to make somebody make it.
Belinda and her son, and then maybe, like...
I think the bodyguard might in some way. The
Maybe
bodyguard and the
Gaitok.
Asian lady.
I hated Gaitok and Mook.
I do
I know.
too.
That was so unnecessary and irrelevant to me.
was-
No, it wasn't. He was like, no. It wasn't unnecessary. He was just really unlikable.
I just didn't care.
He was flailing in the wind the entire show.
yeah,
He was just going with the vibe and
yeah.
flailing in the wind. He was a complete idiot.
Mhm.
He literally just wanted to sleep with Mook, nothing else.
The entire time.
Mook was using him for attention
Oh,
and
yeah.
laughs
Oh, yeah.
until he got a little bit of money, and then he was excited about Mook's attention.
Mhm. I was not impressed with that, but
I think somebody's gonna make it. I just don't know who. I think maybe one of the friends might be interesting.
yeah, maybe Laurie.
Maybe Laurie, maybe Pornchai. I don't know.
The
There's
rich
gonna
guy
be
can do it. The rich guy
random-
and his bitch.
Greg.
Greg.
Oh
Again?
yeah, Greg and what's the
could, yeah.
face?
But Greg has to stay in Thailand.
Yeah, Greg can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Greg has to stay there.
That's fair.
So yeah.
So
Anyways,
yeah,
this was great.
this is a great.
I love me some White Lotus. This
Oh
was
my
the
God.
best season. It wasn't
I
even
can't
close.
wait.
Such
No, this is the
good
best
It
season.
wasn't even close. Can't wait for season 4. I'm sure we'll get it in 18 months.
Right.
I think it's going to be in Australia.
Oh,
We'll have to do this for
interesting.
Handmaid's Tale if you guys all watch that.
Oh my god,
Fuck
yes.
Because this is the last season.
Yeah.
I'm scared to watch it.
I'm
It
scared.
hasn't out yet.
I know. I'm saying I'm like scared to like.
Well, I don't know why. Hannah's going to get her daughter back and she's going to die. So I can tell you how that
I'll
ends
tell you what
right
happens
now.
right now.
I can tell you what
I can't
happens
take
right now. But she
it.
wants to die. She'd rather die over not
Yeah,
getting her
then
daughter
yes,
back. It's not even
exactly.
close.
Exactly.
It's not even close. She's like disgusted that her husband or her ex-husband is okay with moving on. She's disgusted.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's why she can't be with him.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
Absolutely. And on that note,
Bye guys.
bye guys. Hey, Adam.
No, literally. The hips.
NBC. No relation to NBC.